Record. All right. Today is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. I am the interviewer, Amy Moritz, with Kristen Gregoire at the Julia Boyer Reinstein Library. Kristen was born and raised in West Seneca, graduating from West Seneca West High School. She received her associate's degree in early childhood education from Villa Maria College and her bachelor's degree in early childhood special education from Daemen College. She currently lives in West Seneca with her husband, Marty, and works in the West Seneca School District. She's been skating with the organization SABAH for the majority of her life, and now serves as an instructor with the program. Kristen, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is really exciting. So, tell me about a time that you remember falling in love with ice skating.
So I first fell in love with ice skating when I was old enough to understand the balloon finales in each and every show. I understood then that it was my thing. Growing up with cerebral palsy, my right side is affected. My fine motor skills in my hand and my legs balance was always difficult. And my eyesight, my peripheral vision in my right eye is also affected. So these big performances came, and the finale was always my favorite part because ice skating is me, and this is my performance.
I love that. So tell me, first of all, for people who may be unfamiliar with what SABAH is, how do you describe SABAH to its people?
SABAH is a program. It has branched out into multiple areas through turf sports and ice skating programs. It provides recreational activity for individuals of any age for exercise and movement to help their handy-capable selves.
That's great. And when did you start with SABAH, and how was your family introduced to it?
So I started way back in 1994. Through 1995 was my first show. From what I hear in stories from my family, that it was my grandparents on my mom's side that discovered the organization and had thought it would be great to help my CP. And the rest is history. I've been involved ever since.
That's great. And you were how old when you started?
3.
Okay.
3.
So you almost don't remember a time not being on the ice.
Yes, it wasn't until all of the years started to add up that I was able to really see what it was meant to be.
Uh-huh. And so you mentioned the show. That was great. That's kind of like was the moment that like it really really clicked for you. What was the process like? Was it? I remember learning how to ice skate, and it was tough. So just take me through like the learning for you and sticking with it, because ice skating is one of those sports that sometimes you don't stick with it because it can be
challenging. For me, it's like riding a bike. Uh-huh. So I was a beginner skater, and I used a walker, and then I advanced to without a walker, and then I went to the advanced group 3 at the rink, and then became a volunteer, and now instructor.
What do you? I'm going to talk about like your skating days, in a minute. But what do you love about the program and about the skating, or about the program, or both, that have kept you in it, and so much so that you're an instructor now?
Oh my gosh. So it's just the feeling of flying on the ice that makes me love skating. And to come back year after year, Saturday after Saturday, it's the smiles on each and every one. It's just so wonderful to see the joy and the livelihood, the happiness from all the volunteers on ice, off ice, including the SABAH stars. It's very rewarding.
So, you said that as you understood it, your grandparents were the ones who kind of found out about the program and, thought that it would be good for you with your CP. As you got older, so you've been on the ice since you were 3, but as you got older, what did you notice was that the best opportunity that you saw for other people with disabilities? And I know SABAH has a wide range of people that they serve as well. But what was your experience as far as what was available to you when you were growing up?
Yes, so as far as I'm aware of, through stories, again, from my family, that they had tried Special Olympics. And once they heard of my mild CP, I was too able. so they turned me away. Therefore, they joined me in SABAH, who was more than welcoming for my abilities and non-abilities, took me in and taught me the ropes.
And that's one of the things that, so full disclosure for the interview, I've been a volunteer with SABAH, and that's how I met you.
And we are so lucky to have you, Amy.
Well, thank you so much. But it is a wide range of ages and abilities that are on the ice at the same time.
Yes.
And it's so inclusive. And I think that as someone as an outsider who hasn't been, in that community, it's almost amazing to see how easy, I mean, it's not easy, but easy in a way, easier than we think to be inclusive.
Yes, exactly. So yes, as young as 3 and as old as I feel like I've seen 80. It's miraculous.
Really it. Yes. So tell me some of your favorite, I know it's hard to pick favorite memories, but, and then for people who aren't familiar, describe a SABAH season.
So a SABAH season starts in October and goes through March. There are different rinks and different days and times. I am at the Hamburg rink. We skate every Saturday at 9:50 to 11:10, and it's been that way for my whole seasons. And each week we learn skills, skating forward, skating backwards, pumpkins, stops, 1-foot glides. We change it up week to week, and then once the new year hits, we start practicing routines for the show theme in March.
And pre-COVID, those shows were at the arena downtown Buffalo, which has had many names, right? HSBC, Key Bank.
For me, it was the best place in the whole wide world.
Uh-huh. Also known as that.
Yes.
So describe to me when you were younger and you were skating, what were some of those memories? What were some of those things about the show? I guess describe, you would do 2 shows and everybody was there from all the different rinks, all coming together at the same time.
And you said it, yes, everybody comes together. It's a lot of time, a lot of moving of equipment, but everybody loves each other. The hellos, the good lucks, the have a great show. It's just amazing. And I used to bribe my brother actually to get up early so I could be there as early as possible to help blow up the balloons and be in the atmosphere, see the Zamboni, clear the ice and the spotlights, all of the sponsors' signs hung up. It was just the favorite day of the year, always.
And how long were routines that you would normally do? So you would go out, did they get different as you got older or progressed, or?
I believe, each routine I believe is like 3 minutes. And depending on which group you were in, the skills changed. With the music, the routines, we would come up with them, and movements would be the same, but we would incorporate them in different ways.
And how did you feel like your skating progressed too? You kind of gave us a little bit, but as you got older, just talk about other skills, like how your skating progressed a little bit too.
So yes, beginners always are fearful, and 1-foot glide this way and another that way. I actually did a lot of toe skating. And I had to learn to glide instead of using the toe pick. So that was one thing that was challenging way back when. And to ditch the walker, it was as if I was flying. It felt so good, and it helped my balance, and I just grew from there. I love the group 3 routines because it's just so wrenching to fly, to feel the breeze of the ice and go as fast as we go in those circles and pinwheels. My heart races.
And you mentioned it helped your balance, and one of the things that I love about sports and athletics and movement or whatever is what you then take away from the activity, right?
Yes.
Into the rest of your life. And so what were some of the ways and some of the things that SABAH has given you or gave you that you then took into your everyday life or into school or away from the rink?
So as I was growing up, CP didn't seem to be a thing. I felt alone. I felt different. School, kids would make fun of me. And I didn't necessarily at the time know how to cope with my challenges. Writing was difficult. Reading comprehension was poor. And skating was the one place that I knew I could be me. And as I've grown in confidence in myself and to understand my CP, to accept it, I have grown to have the mantra of be beautiful and be you. So I have SABAH to thank for that. Being on the rink, being in the spotlight, having the show, my crowd, cheering section, and family and friends has made a difference.
That's so beautiful. And you're able to also now pay that forward to younger SABAH athletes, as well. So what has that been like now for you to work with them?
So SABAH has really given me the strength to be where I am today. And I've had multiple SABAH stars as I've become volunteer and instructor. And to see them grow, to see them succeed. One skater this year was my SABAH star when she was super duper young. And she came back. So to see her as the skater she is today, knowing that I had her as a toddler, is super rewarding.
And it's a whole family affair for you too, right? I know your parents are there as well. How has that been to have them come into and be such a big part of that as well?
So my dad was my volunteer when we started. Chris, as he's called on the ice, that's where we shine in our relationship. It's something we do together. It's a bond. And my mom, Carol, she's off ice. She took care of all of the things behind the scenes. And when my brother Mike became old enough, he joined us out on the ice as well. So it has been an amazing experience to have my family there by my side. And now that I'm married, Marty comes to the rink with me every week. He understands that it means a lot to me. It's been a huge part of my life, and he fully supports it.
That's great. Now, did your dad skate before? Like, was he a skater? Did he skated or just know how to skate, or do you have any idea?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I don't have an answer for that. I should ask him.
Beforehand? Were you learning with me?
Right.
I don't know. Like, I was too young to know. But that's such a great, like, that father-daughter, time that you had together,
yes.
On the ice, and still do.
Yes, and I remember being asked to be an instructor, and then the smile to know that I would be co-instructing with my dad was a great moment.
I want to take you back to some of those earlier shows,
Yes.
because you brought a bunch of great mementos, and like Brian. I mean, these shows were big deals, and like Brian Boitano, Olympian, right? Comes to this, is at one of the SABAH shows. What was that experience like as a little girl?
So Elizabeth O'Donnell, who founded the organization SABAH, back then it was called Skating Association for the Blind and Handicapped, at one point chose me for a solo. And in conversations, making decisions, I skated to Dance of the Reed Flutes from the Nutcracker, and I had this sparkly pink tutu. We'd meet at the rink early mornings to come up with a routine, and practice after practice became stronger. I remembered the movements, the spirals, the bunny hops, the turns, and we were invited to go skate. One show was an American Open in Chicago, Illinois, with Brian Boitano. A duet with, his name was William Dixon and Stephanie Ebbauer. They had a routine as well to put on a happy face. and we all skated in the show with Brian Boitano. I can remember being invited out on the ice with him, and he asked me the question, "Who is your favorite ice skater?" And my answer was Tara Lipinski and you.
I'm glad that you said the "and you" part,
Yes.
right? Like you had to make
That was
sure
a nice touch.
That was a good touch. That was a good, like walk back, in
Yes.
that moment. But what an experience. That
wasn't even the only one I've had with him.
Okay.
So we also, came to skate in the SABAH shows. We also skated together in the opening of the Moraine Midland Arena, way back when.
And what's it like to obviously with him, but like to have someone of his stature be that involved and come to Buffalo, and you were went to this other thing, but to have him engage in that and be so embracing
Yes.
of the mission.
He was so awesome with me and the others. It seemed as if he had a great relationship with Elizabeth O'Donnell, knowing he came to the shows, and that really showed that everybody was included, that he really accepts different abilities, and to have that support is unreal.
Mm-hmm. That's like so exciting. I wish I was at that show. I was at a couple of them. I had a friend who was a volunteer, and I went to go see her in a couple of shows. But what an opportunity to have that.
There were multiple. I've also been included in a show in Detroit, Michigan, where I skated with Todd Eldridge and Tara Lipinski. I had the same solo throughout. I also did a trip to North Carolina to skate in an Ice Girls show with Tara Lipinski again. So I've had my fair share of travels and experiences with SABAH.
So you mentioned Tara Lipinski as your favorite skater, and
Yes.
you got to skate with her twice.
I did.
Yes. What was that experience like?
She quickly became my favorite, along with Brian Boitano. I loved her. I still look up to her, admire her. I learned that her favorite animal is a frog. So I had a little Thai beanie baby for her as a present. I remember being in the locker room with her, and she gave me a flower, and we posed for a picture. She's a sweetheart. I would love to see her again. We've had a great time.
That's so fantastic. So did you watch a lot of skating when
I did.
Okay, yeah.
I did. So the day Tara won the Olympics was such a memorable Olympic moment for me. That was at a time when I was skating with my solo and having the big SABAH shows. So I remember waking up early in the morning and seeing her routine, and then they announced that she won, and I jumped up and down. I was going out to the school bus in the morning shouting, "Tara Lipinski won the Olympics!" So all my friends knew too.
That's so great, and it's so amazing when you get that opportunity to meet someone that you've watched, skate.
Absolutely.
And also have the experience match what you hope for, right? Because
Exactly
not
right.
everyone's what they might present, in their on TV or something like that.
Yes.
That's. Do you have other? I mean, those are huge memories. But do you have other favorite memories of skating, or do you have favorite memories? You mentioned a little bit now of being an instructor.
Yes. So costumes were also my favorite. So many to look back on. I remember laughing at my dad because he was the Pink Panther one year. Some of my favorites were the 50s poodle skirts for the Pink Ladies and the T-Birds and Grease Lightning, or the year As I Dream of Jeannie, where I skated with a Jeannie doll on me tied to my wrists and my skates. I also wore a flower pot on my head as the Wizard of Oz. And my pink tutu is their favorite as well. Again, my family and friends were a great cheering section. They would come to every show. My special friend, Valerie Faye, she would come to every show too. And we'd always get a picture, and it made our relationship as what it is today.
That's great. You know, one of the questions I ask a lot of people is where you find your most support, and it sounds like your family and your friends also. Like
Yes.
that really.
And you know what? I do have to shout out all of the volunteers and skaters that I grew up with. I skate at the Hamburg rink, and every family has been there for as long as I can remember with me. So we've grown up together. We've had a special bond, and they keep coming back year after year, and they have fully supported me as well.
What is it that you think keeps people coming back?
The atmosphere. Yes. The love for the sport and the people.
Do you, I would think that a lot of people who aren't familiar with SABAH or with people with different abilities would think you're going to put those people on ice skates? Like how do they do that? And so are you, I guess someone that would say like, what, I can't put my child on ice skates because they have this problem that they're dealing
Yes.
with.
And I guess give it a try. You never know. There are some skaters, skates are provided, and so they lace up their skates, and some of them step on the ice and want to get off. But then next week comes, and they love it. And once that belief that they can do it sets in, there's no stopping them.
What kept you coming back? What kept you motivated?
That is a great question. I think understanding and knowing that it was me. Like skating is in my blood. It's my veins. Like peanut butter and jelly go together. It's Kristen and SABAH. And knowing my family was there with me to experience all of these special moments kept me going.
And, we talked a little bit about, being an instructor now and working with, helping the new generation of athletes and kids coming up through. What's most rewarding for you about that part?
It's all full circle. To be able to have the journey I had with the organization and to now provide what it has provided me with others has been the most rewarding aspect of this organization. I see the little ones that it's new, and they cry because it is new. It's different, and I see the ones who have grown up and mastered the skills and have gone from the beginning group to the advanced group and smile and laugh along the way.
That's great. What do you have a favorite moment as an instructor?
My favorite moment
Or a
as
favorite moment.
an instructor. I think that my favorite moment was when I came up with a routine my first year. To feel that involved, to create something that I've watched many do before when I was a skater, felt so good.
What was that like creating the routine? I mean, was it exciting? Was it challenging? I don't want to put words in your mouth. But.
So there's a team that creates them, and it's the simple movements like skating in line and pinwheels and circles. So to use those, practice them, and put it to a song, it's just a really exciting experience.
And then when you see the show, so the shows now are not in person, right? They're filmed. And it's a big movie night that everybody then gets together at the convention center. When you sit down back and watch, what's the experience like for you to watch that?
So yes, SABAH has definitely evolved. It went from Skating Association to the Blind and Handicapped to Spirited Athletes Bold at Heart. In between it was Skating Athletes Bold at Heart. So they branched out to the turf sports and decided to change it to Spirited. I was super upset pre-COVID that our show was early. March 8th was the earliest date for the show at the arena. And that year turned out to be the pandemic. And we fit it in before everything shut down. So that year is special to me. For all of the feelings about being early, it was so great to have that last show. It broke my heart to not be able to skate the next year, but when the world opened back up again, we found ways to get back onto the ice, and to have a way to have a show was nice. It's one big dance party, and I do really enjoy that I get to watch myself. That first year was the first year I've ever truly watched the show. The first time I've seen it, and that really sunk in. I also really enjoy the videotaping because we get to perform the routine 3 times. In the show, especially in the advanced skating groups, you skate so fast that the adrenaline just builds up and it's over and you're done. Not to skate again. And for me, I do it once and I would love to do it again, just for that feeling of excitement, you know? But yes, so the new show format is that we videotape. There's a date that's set for videotaping, and then we go to the convention center and watch it. And it's again one big dance party. Lots of fun, lots of smiles. Everybody there to support a great cause. I loved watching you this year.
I was definitely dancing in my seat. That is for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very catchy music to these routines. And I've also created relationships with the host, Pete Gallivan, because I've done interviews for SABAH, and even him having as a key speaker for our organization is wonderful because he is such a name for Channel 2.
What would you want people to know or understand about athletes that we would label disabled athletes, or athletes that are that are part of SABAH? Because I think that people don't think about them.
Yes, so I can relate, knowing I have my own disability, and I try to not look at the disability aspect of it. I see them as handy capable, and I see the positive traits, the things they can do. And I believe, because I've experienced it myself, that ice skating gives them the ability to do something, to feel a part of something, to create relationships. And that is one thing that SABAH does really well.
Kristen, this has been great. Is there anything that we haven't brought up, that we haven't talked about, that you
I know I could
wanted
go
to
on
mention?
and
I
on
know
and
we could
on.
talk forever.
It's just been a really great time to relive my skating days.
Well, thank you for doing that with us.
Thank
Really
you very
appreciate
much.
it.